Good morning. Very clearly it is a rainy morning and I am standing out in the middle of my friend's tea farm. She wasn't actually able to make it, but we will see her later today. Well, maybe. I'll see her later today, that's for sure. But she wasn't able to make it out, and they're actually closed on the weekend, so it's Saturday. And I still wanted to see it even though it was raining. It is fairly muddy and slippery though, so it's just like trying to really watch my footing. But the place is pretty amazing. I think the only downside that I personally see is the fact that I'd really like to purchase some tea, but because no one's actually here to sell the tea, I can't just buy it. This is the main like farm part that's behind me, and I don't know how well you can see it. I'm using the Insta360 to film rather than the Sony because, well, it's really pissing rain out here. Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, I've been to a couple other tea farms in Japan, been to many tea farms in Korea, so this is really on par. I would say that it's your average tea farm. The one big thing that I noticed is that between the aisles is very, very narrow. More narrow than what I'm accustomed to. I'm used to people being able to walk through, and I think this is probably the most efficient use of land that I've seen at a tea farm, because I'm gonna try to walk over to it. I know there's one in the factory behind me over here, but they have these tractors that actually, they just drive straight over the tea plant and they're able to harvest the tea. And the spacing between the rows of tea plants is super narrow, and it's just wide enough for the harvester to get over. So this is a main road. It's pretty crazy, like, to be thinking I'm walking in the countryside, and we're actually not so far from the ocean. This is Kochi, so we're in the mountains of Kochi, and I would say that Kochi is right next to the ocean as well. Admittedly, the only thing that I know that's from Kochi is Sakamoto Ryoma, who's one of the founding people of modern day Japan. Here we go. We have the little tractor thing right here. And I think that if you look at the like treads of the tractor, they just fit perfectly in between all the rows of the tea. Now, I will notice or mention, it's probably better because it's like raining right now, and it has been raining, but you could see the tracks in the mud of how the tractor would go into each of those slots to get the tea. The other thing that was really neat is that, or that I'm kind of bummed about because it is really neat, is that this is the largest tea farm on the island. This would have been amazing to fly my drone over if it wasn't raining. Like, it's just tea as far as the eye could see. And it's crazy how far up the mountain it goes. It's just rows and rows and rows of tea. And admittedly, if I had a four-wheel drive vehicle, I might actually even would attempt to drive in this mud and try to go like and see other things, because there are quite wide roads for the tractor, obviously. But it's raining. My car, I don't trust it. It struggled to get up here. It's a cute car. I wonder how it would do in the city. Like, thinking about living in, as I live in San Francisco, how would it handle the hill that I live on? That'd be pretty crazy. But yeah, gonna walk around just a little bit more, take a few photos with my phone, and then we'll head on out to the next spot. We'll see what happens. Anyhow, we'll check back in a moment. And welcome back. I think the last time I checked in, I was at the farm, which was raining. And then from the farm, we went to the Ryoma Museum, which we debated whether to go to the statue first or go to the museum first. And we ended up going to the museum first, which was a mistake. Not because it wasn't cool. The museum's amazing, and it's worth the 700 yen to get in. Go learn about how Japan modernized and how they changed, how Ryoma helped change their history and create this modern Japan as we know it. Like that, it's amazing. Even learn about the fact that he started off with the oust the foreigners and revere the emperor, the Sono Joy, and it's hot. I think the mistake we made was it was lightly raining, and we went to the museum to try to get out of the rain, which makes sense. Then when we went to the statue, which I personally really want to do because I am a fan of Ryoma, so I wanted to go to a statue. It actually started downpouring, and the heaviest part of the rain came at that time. And my clothes are dry now. It's actually quite warm out here. But my feet are drenched. Like, I have soggy shoes, soggy socks, and it's very uncomfortable to walk. But it is what it is. We're gonna go to the castle now. Statue is amazing at 13 meters. It's impressive. I don't know if any of this is gonna come up, but we were so wet and the rain was coming down so hard. It was just a wall of water. It was coming down so hard that we decided to just go and eat at the statue area. There's like a little mall area, a strip mall, and we just went and ate there. We were gonna come to where I'm at right now, which is called Tosa no Sato, which is a farmer's market in the middle of Kochi, and it's pretty impressive. Like, it is a farmer's market in the sense that there are a ton of products inside from all over the place, various farms, and I was able to find my friend's tea, whose farm we started at, here at this market. There's just way too many people inside to really get any good filming done, so I didn't. And it is what it is. There is actually a whole restaurant area that these two guys are pairing, that they're barbecuing pork. It was really good. Lynn was able to get some. I don't even know if I got any footage of that, but it's delicious. And then right over here, there is a stall that's giving away melon taste test. That was really good. Like the juiciest melon I've ever had in my life. But it's delicious. Like, food here is just always so great. That's another thing. So we were here in the Tosa no Sato, and it literally, like, they have bento boxes for 300 yen. It's so inexpensive. Everything is just priced to sell. And this whole, they're breaking down this whole like front market that was going on prior to 3 o'clock, which is right now 3:30. So this place is like a random find, because I asked my friend earlier where could I buy her tea, and she pointed here. So I came and we went shopping. We bought more than just her tea. We got souvenirs for other folks at home as well. So we'll check that out once we get to a place that's a little less crazy. Anyhow, this place is intense. There's just so much going on. We'll check back in a moment. All right, welcome back. We have gone from the Tosa no Sato to Kochi Castle. We are running a little bit behind schedule, and I think people are gonna have to get tables for us at dinner rather than us get tables for them at dinner. But I'll send a message in a moment to apologize and let them know, because we are now going to the last kind of mainstay Kochi thing that we're going to be seeing, which is the shrine. We shouldn't need more than like 10-15 minutes there, but everything is good to go. This castle is amazing. It's one of two that I believe is just like the original construct still, like the original foundation or whatnot. The war, even though we bombed Japan and Kochi, missed the castle altogether apparently, but there was an earthquake here that damaged it pretty badly back late 40s, early 50s. For whatever they did, it's very, very well maintained. Like, it looks pristine here, and the park associated with it is super clean. The moat that's around actually has a ton of big fish in it too. I didn't capture anything, but I was hearing them jump out of the water and they're like making big splashes. They actually have a lot of English all over the castle. There is just great views. You go all the way up to the top floor and look out and actually walk along the balcony there, I guess you could call it. It's really, really pretty, and I think a great example of a Japanese castle. It is tiny, but I mean, I think it makes up for what it is in the fact that when you actually walk in there and go around, it's actually easy to get around, easy to learn things, easy to see things. You're not too concerned about a lot of the, like, where are you going and how to get there or what are you looking at. Everything is very well explained, like the fish that are on the edges of the castle, everything. Super fun. Overall, quick note, finding the place. Google Maps, like I was depending on it to get here, could have done a little bit of a better job getting me to the parking lot of the place rather than it brought me to the town hall entrance, which is connected on the other side. So I had to drive around the castle in order to find parking. Luckily, I just had Lynn look for parking, and she was like, oh, it says that there's Kochi Castle parking on literally the opposite side of where you came from. And so we drove all the way around and made it here. That's pretty much the only complaint I have, and that's not really with Kochi Castle, that's with Google. I kind of wish we had more time. Like, we got here at about 4 o'clock, and by the time we walked up, it was like 4:15 through the park and to the actual keep, and they close at 5. So it was small enough for us to get all the way up to the top, but we did have to like kind of just blow by exhibits. You know, I did stop and read a few, like the fact that they filmed a movie here and had Nakamura Yukie, like a famous Japanese actress. They have the kimono that she wore as the wife of the lord of the castle. And there was a lot of conflict here in Kochi. That's one thing that I noticed, like internal strife. And they actually had some, like, I don't know what to call it, figurines, like statues or dioramas, I think is the best way of actually talking about how those actually happened. But overall, the views were great. Everything looked good. Lynn cannot find that cache, but we're going to check in a moment here. All right, back in a second. And welcome back. So I think the last time we were chatting, I was at Kochi Castle, and a lot has happened since then. We left Kochi Castle, obviously. We didn't really stay and check out the park, although the park and the castle are both really pretty and deserve definitely more than the kind of 40 minutes to an hour that we spent for both. I think at least an hour and a half. 90 minutes is probably good. 120 would be more than sufficient. We went over to the Yamauchi Shrine, which we drove past and saw, but it was 500 yen for parking, and we were literally just gonna jump out and take a photo. I mean, we probably could have just like parked right in front of the shrine and hopped out of the car, took our photos, a little bit of video, and then moved on. But we actually had a dinner date with 2 of my friends from my university days 14 years ago. And so, technically 15 years ago. Depends, it's, oh man, even longer than that, because I met them both in America the year before I came to live in Japan. So, there is that. They were going to meet us at the Hirome Market, which is famous here in Kochi. And one of them is actually from the area, so she knows everything that's like good to grab at the market, was able to explain everything to us. I am thinking now, I don't think I actually have video footage of all the food that we got, but I do have photos, so I could at least throw those up if there's no video of it. But we got the tosamaki, which is the local roll. It's famous here for using the skipjack tuna, I believe it is, the local tuna, and it's wrapped in rice and seaweed along with garlic and a shiso leaf. We also got utsuboshi, I think is what it was. I'm gonna have to write everything down on the screen because I'll have to look it up. But it is a sea eel or ocean eel that she got some sashimi of. And that was actually really good. It was just chewy. And then we got, again, I think she said it was like Shikoku something? Something? It looked like asparagus. Both Lynn and I were like, oh, that's like asparagus. And when she showed us the plant, which it's a weed, she's like, oh, it kind of does look like asparagus. And that was actually super tasty. It was really nice. A lot better than we thought it was going to be. Because she kind of played it off as it was not going to be good. Same thing with the eel. The eel was fine too. And then lastly, she got the chikubiku, which is a Japanese fish cake that is wrapped around a full stalk of, or a full, I don't actually know how to call it, a full cucumber. So it's one cucumber that's wrapped in its entirety, so you can't see the cucumber, and then it's cooked that way, and then they chop it up and serve it with mayonnaise that's topped with fish eggs. I forget what the small one is, so not the large orange fish eggs, but the small orange ones. And everything was delicious. It was all good. My other friend, he went and grabbed a whole sushi set and unagi bowl for himself, and that was tons of food. He got like 4 boxes of sushi, so on top of the unagi don that he got. And then Lynn came back with beef and chicken skewers, so yakitori and yakiniku, that were all done right in front of her. It was delicious. Like, it was just a good time all around. Everybody was super friendly. You could actually, it's part of the culture to start conversations with other tables. Very unusual in my opinion for Japan, but that's what they do. And Sakino was, or my friend, she said that it was a very normal thing for her to do, at least, and thought it was weird that we weren't trying to do that more, which, hey, all the more power to her. I think that's an amazing type of friendliness that you don't get in the big cities. After that, we dropped her off and departed with my other friend. He's joining us tomorrow to go for a cool drive through the mountains, and we'll actually be meeting up with him in the morning at the Kochi Sunday Market. So today's Saturday, tomorrow. No, it's today now. It's Sunday now. Just cracked midnight. One quick note I forgot to mention. At dinner, we were discussing things that happen here in Japan, and I don't even know if I mentioned it on the other video, but I brought up the fact that we've run into wild animals. And my friend who lives here said that, yeah, you know, she doesn't really go out at night all too much because there's a chance that she'd run into like a wild boar. My other friend from Okayama, he actually has run into boar and deer and snakes just like me. But one thing that Lynn and I experienced the other day while driving to the Ochiai observation point, we ran across a bear. There was a bear on the road and it ran away from us. I think I have GoPro footage, so I could try to throw that up, but both my friends were like, oh, that's super rare. Like, you almost never see that. And it's it's different. I didn't think I'd ever see a wild bear here in Japan, but
they say they exist, and yeah, we definitely bumped into one. But anyhow, yeah, it's just something I wanted to point out just for memory's sake. But that's pretty much it. We got our showers and everything ready. We're good for bed. It's time to just kind of hit the hay, and yeah, we'll see you in the morning in the next video. All right, good night.